Hello, you beautiful internet people, and welcome back to another video. It has been forever since I've recorded, and I apologize for that. I've just been incredibly busy, and now I'm busy with exams, so I don't really know if I'm going to upload next week or how the schedule is going to go. But hopefully, I will manage to record, even though it is exam. But yeah, so today I have something pretty unique to show you guys. So I literally made this like 2 hours ago. I finished it because I was incredibly bored and I didn't really know what to do because I usually make things that are kind of a bit more functional or useful, like four doors or 3x3 piston doors, and not really anything that's just fun to do or like I don't know, like not really fun, not fun, but like this door doesn't really have a purpose. Let me just show you guys this. Now I know someone is going to point out in the comment section. I did get this idea from Mumbo Jumbo, who did something similar a couple years back. But as you can see, if we close this door, we should get a piston door that roughly resembles my goggles. Yeah, I know it only looks like it's too high, but if you check over on the paper door, you can actually see these four eyes. So yeah, otherwise it would have been against my eyes, and that just kind of looked weird. So fun fact. But anyway, so this is the Goggle Door or something. I don't really know what to call it. The only thing that I would say I kind of don't like about it is the fact that I couldn't figure out a way to actually hide these pistons or have them not extend. If this had been Java, it would have been easy. You could have just like one tick post it. But the only way to really get spit out a block in Bedrock is by doing something like this, where we have two blocks and then we power the bottom one. But that would have just been so incredibly difficult to do, as you can see. This is what I have to work with. This little thing over here is part of the double piston extender. So that would mean that I would essentially need to make a triple piston extender that would pulse, and then the double piston extender would need to be there and also not freak out. I don't know, it would have been incredibly difficult. But this thing was actually still pretty difficult to make. As you can see, the redstone is really just a big mess and everything. And these double piston extenders were so difficult to make for some reason. I don't really know why, but I just couldn't get them to fit in properly because if we close it up here, you'll see that they are actually flush with the top and with the bottom. So that was a bit difficult to do. I wouldn't say it took me too long, but it probably took me a half an hour or something. I don't really know. The bottom one, on the other hand, this thing was a real pain to make, the bottom double piston extender, because I had to use this exploit over here where as you can see, if we power this piston, it will actually somehow cause this torch to depower, even though that piston is being powered from the side, and but it's not powering the piston behind it because it's not a solid block. I don't know. It's some really strange bedrock mechanics, but that's how I got that thing to work. It takes a couple seconds to extend this to power this piston over there, or this piece of redstone, but it will almost instantly get depowered because what this thing based the easiest way I found to do this was to just have this repeater powering this piston, and then after that delay this piston would extend this block in this position, which will allow this repeater to send its pulse through. But what we want to do is we want to have that power depower really quickly, and that's why this is on one tick. And even though this block is still here, this will depower before that has depowered, and thus we end up with a circuit that takes a while to power on but powers off instantly. And that's basically what happens here on the bottom as well. Now surprisingly, the thing that took the longest to make was these pulse mechanisms. I don't know what to call them on the side. It took so long. It took me about roughly the same time to come up with a design for just the this array of pistons, these 4 pistons with these redstone blocks, as he did to come up with the entire door, including all of the redstone you can see over here, which is connected to those slime blocks. And the reason or the purpose of those pistons over here is what you'll see is that this is a flush wall, but when we power it, those blocks get retracted back, and then the entire thing gets moved out. Because for the glass pieces, I actually use slime blocks because it kind of doubled as 2 ways. It kind of looked cool because if you'd never noticed, it actually has 2 different tones in the glass bit, and it made it a lot easier to retract these suckers over here. Originally, I was going to have the slime blocks like that, and then retract them upwards or downwards, but then I realized I was going to need to make a flush triple piston extender, which is considerably more difficult. So I just said, okay, no, definitely not going to do that. And so I just ended up for this design. Now, why this thing is so huge, these pulsars, is when we depower it, you'll see that all of this gets retracted back, and then the black bit gets pushed forward. The way that I made the door is that we have the slime blocks like that, and then this piece of black concrete is over here, so that we can get that kind of arch, or I don't know, bevel, I don't really know what to call it. But to make it flush with the wall, we need to push this block into this position. But as soon as we were to power this double piston extender over here, this concrete block would get stuck to this slime block, and so it will be in the middle instead of being on the side. And so that's why I had to make this weird double piston extender thingy to push and retract the blocks on command, so that they can end up in this little pattern over here. And yeah, I originally was going to fill 4 blocks in these positions over there, but when I finished it, I thought it looked kind of cool with the little holes because it had a more roundy shape. And quite frankly, in my opinion at least, it looks kind of dumb should the door look like that. I don't really know, especially because this piston is still over here. It just kind of looked weird in my opinion, so I was just like, well, I don't have to go through the extra trouble of extending pistons over here. It wouldn't have been, now that I think about it, wouldn't have been that difficult, but still it would have taken a bit of work and rewiring of the current circuits. But yeah, I don't really know. Should I do a tutorial on this? Because I don't really know if anyone wants to build this, but it's pretty cool. Or I'm at least think it's pretty cool. I'm proud of it. But if I remember, I'll maybe put a poll up in the corner, and you guys can vote if you want to see a tutorial on this, which I highly doubt because, well, it's huge. The door is 4x7, which is for Bedrock, that's a pretty big door. And then you have all of this redstone, which is just lying around the entire place. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure how I got it to work, but it works, and that's all that matters. Something that I actually really, really like is these glass that are actually in the wall. I think it looks pretty cool with the kind of strips in the middle there. It kind of breaks up the colors there, and it's not entirely black. And of course, the cool thing about the fact that the rim of the glasses is black is that you can't really see the obsidian. It's not really that obvious. Now, the way that I came up with this whole mechanism on the side here is actually from a 4x4 Voltor. So technically, if you take a close look at it, basically it's 2 one-sided Voltors because you have this thing and then the bevel in there. So yeah, this is with technically with a little bit of modification, this could be classified as a one-sided Voltor, but that would kind of be well, I don't think I'm going to go through the trouble of that because how many blocks? The smallest this thing would be if we were to turn it into a Voltor would be 13. And I have another Bedrock design that requires no immovable objects as well as not using slime blocks or anything like that. That's only 10 blocks across. So I don't know. I probably won't even bother making this thing one-sided. Oh, by the way, don't bother searching for that Voltor on my channel because I haven't posted it yet, even though it's like over a year old. It was like one of my first doors that I made. Not really my first, but let's say in the area of just before my first 3x3 piston door. It was about that time that I made it. But you guys don't really care about that. You're here for this door. So remember to vote up in the poll if you want to see me do a tutorial on this thing, because I'm definitely not going to make a tutorial on this thing unless you guys really want to see it. But yeah, I think this thing looks pretty cool. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again in the future with a brand new video. Oh yeah, and consider subscribing and leaving a like if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the future with a brand new video.